Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Megan Garrett. I am the Central Michigan SISMA coordinator. Today I am wanting to go over with you how to use the MISIN app from start to finish. So we're going to go over creating your account, we're going to go over putting it on your phone, and we're going to go over using it in the field. So I really want to give you a step-by-step direction on how to use it so you feel comfortable. But to start, I want to go over why this is important. Why are invasive species a problem? A lot of people don't understand the repercussions of invasive species if they aren't directly impacted by them. So if they don't have it in their yard or on their property where it's taking over their land or affecting their fishing or hunting. So with invasive species, a lot of the times we focus on plants, but there are invertebrates, there are animals. However, the plants are the ones that they can overcrowd native plants by overshading, or some of them emit a chemical that kills other species or doesn't let them grow around them. And so by taking over the native species, we then take away a resource for native insects and native animals to thrive on. And when we take away one of those insects or plants or animals, it affects the whole food chain. Some species are very specific in what they eat, and so if that plant or animal or insect goes extinct, then ultimately that organism could also go extinct if they don't somehow find a way of adapting. And so again, invasive species just affect the overall ecosystem in many ways, whether that is a plant, an invertebrate, or an animal. And you can find a lot more information about different species, different reasons why they are bad on our website, which is cmsisma.org. But today I want to focus on MISIN and how you can help, even if you aren't having invasive species on your property, that you're able to remove. Which, side note here, if you are going to remove invasive species on your property, be sure that you are using the correct techniques. So some invasive species like Japanese knotweed, this one is very susceptible to regrowth even by the smallest little fragment. And so if you have it on your property and you disturb it, if you cut it down, you mow it, and you don't properly contain it in a bag and throw it away, or let it dry and burn it, then you could ultimately be spreading it more. So it's really important to know the species you're dealing with, know what treatment is best, and that is where we can come in. That's where our website comes in, michigan.gov. There's a lot of other resources on our website that you can find as well, on ways of how you can treat things, what things are. So the MISIN app, this is where you can come in to help us. So the MISIN app, the Michigan Invasive Species Information Network, this group has the goal of their website has information on all the invasive species in Michigan, or the Midwest, I should say, that are found to be a threat in areas. Some are restricted species or prohibited species, and these are the species that it's unlawful to have or sell in Michigan. And so with the MISIN app, me as the SISMA, so my SISMA covers Midland, Clare, Gladwin, Gratiot, and Isabella. And we have SISMAs across the state to have a statewide beneficial group that can help with invasive species. And so my goal in this region is to work with the organizations in this area to determine what species we feel like are the most important to identify, to treat, and what places that we feel are priorities as well. And we will work along with the DNR also to determine these things as well. And so I am the only staff member of the SISMA currently, and so because of that, MISIN is really valuable to us because every time a species is reported, it goes directly to me, and so I can say, hey, is this a new sighting? Is this a new species? Is it something that we really need to focus on right now, or is it something that we can save for another project, or work with the person that is the landowner or business owner to help them control it. And so the other thing with MISIN that's really important, I mentioned prohibited and restricted. So those are species that we really want to focus on, but also there are watch list species. And watch list species are ones that they are either not in Michigan yet or they haven't been established. And so these are ones that are really important to find right away and try and control right away so that we don't have to use more resources to control it in the future. So there is this curve that shows at the bottom where you have eradication is possible. You find it at the beginning, but as time goes on, the curve goes up. And when the curve goes up, the cost of treating those species also goes up. So it's really important that we take advantage of the beginning of an infestation so that we can tackle it and eradicate it when it's possible. And so again, MISIN's really important in that, so we can have more eyes on the ground, and it's a great educational tool as well. So let's get started. I'm going to go over the first step of making an account, and I'm actually going to create an account for my husband because he does not have one yet. Okay, to start, we are actually going to download the app first. So now this is something that you can do on your computer, but I'm going to start by doing it on my phone, and then we will go over the computer version later. So we're going to go to the App Store, and we're going to type in MISIN, MISIN. And then we are going to download it. Now you are going to want to do this when you have a Wi-Fi connection. There have been some glitches where not everything will load if you don't do it under Wi-Fi. So we're going to do open. Now this is the page that will initially come up when you first sign in to your account the first time. So we're going to actually do register. Okay, and you can see here, you're going to type in all of this information. You won't have an affiliation. You can receive their news if you would like, and then you can accept it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. Now you don't have to type in your address, but having at least your city is helpful for that, so that we know where you are at and your zip code. Okay, so now I'm at the register state. Our account is created. Now we are going to go back to the home page and we are going to sign in. It's a little confusing because it doesn't go to a different screen when you sign in, but this will be, you'll always be signed in unless you sign yourself off. So we're going to go down to the home button here. And you are going to want to let it access your location, but you just to make it more accurate, or you can just put the points in yourself. However, it is the most accurate to do it that way. So to show a couple things on the top here, that is showing where you are at. You can see it on a map. And then this is where you're going to want to report something. So say we found a plant or an animal. You can click either one of those and then hit go. And then these are all the different categories. So now you are going to want to familiarize yourself with these a little bit before you go into the field. Some of them aren't necessarily where you would think you would find them. Let's go with herb here. And herb, one that people get confused with, let's see here, is Japanese knotweed. Here we are. We found it in the field. You can either report an absent, which can be helpful in the sense of when it's a site that has had it before or things like that. It can be good to report an absent. However, you don't want to do that all the time. The other thing to keep in mind is when you report a presence, you don't want to report something that, let's say, autumn olive. Now, autumn olive is pretty well spread, and so reporting this a million times in one little area isn't as beneficial. So this is where you could report it once and say, describe the area. A couple of things, you can look at photos of it here to help you a little bit. So it will show you on the map where it is. Now, this can get a little bit, it's actually loading pretty fast here, but so we're in Midland. You can see there's been 27 reports here. And as you zoom in and out, more and more will show. So like this shows 10. As I zoom in, it's going to break them out more. The other thing, fact sheet. So like I said, some of the are prohibited species. This is a prohibited one. This is just the description of it. If you click that arrow, you can see the different information about it. You can favorite something, and then you will know for the future that you can find it in your favorites of one that you find a lot. Okay, and so we're going to report a presence. Now, I'm not actually going to submit it because I'm not in an area that I actually have it, but we're just going to go over how you can do this. So the area, it goes by individuals, few or several, over or under 1,000 square feet, over 1,000 square feet to half an acre to an acre, and then more than an acre. So those are the different ways. The density here, sparse, patchy, dense, and monoculture. So monoculture is when it is literally that is the only plant that you really see. Okay. One thing that I like to do is so sometimes you might be thinking, well, is it sparse or is it patchy? Is it patchy or is it dense? And so just use your best judgment. But when I'm a little uncertain, I like to add a picture. And so you can allow it to use your picture, and then you can take a picture of it. We'll just do this. We'll use the photo. And then it will upload it there at the bottom. You can make comments. So again, I like to write in here, you know, several patches in different areas, a little bit farther apart from each other. That way you're not putting a point for every single little patch, but you're saying that it is there. There may be other characteristics that you think are important to it. You know, it's next to water, it's next to a ditch, that type of thing. Those can be things that are helpful to know. So we're going to save this observation. Actually, we're not going to save it since it's not a real one. So if you did one, you would save it. Okay. And we're just going to go back to the beginning here. Just to show you here, this is where your favorite will go. So that we have Japanese knotweed there. So we're going to go back to the home page. And now here's where we have our send data button. So we went in the field, we found a species that we wanted to identify, we entered all the information, and now we want to send it. So you don't have to send every single point each individually. You can do a bunch of points. Say you're on a walk, you go for a mile hike, and you find several different points. Now you get home, you're on your Wi-Fi, and you can send your data in, okay? And it will send it all in at one time. So that is the nice thing about that. And then some other stuff here. So you have your settings. You can keep your photos in your actual photo gallery, which is kind of nice. you can do the accelerate workflow, confirm before saving. So that's just up to you. About just about the MISIN website, who you can contact, that kind of thing. And then your account, again, is your on-off. Now I'm going to show you how to do this on your computer. So we're going to go to the MISIN website. All you have to do is type in MISIN, and here it is. It's the first one, the Midwest Invasive Species Network. So this is their homepage. When you're going to log in to yours to do a report, you're going to go to My MISIN. Now we are going to type in our username and password. We are signed in here now. The page looks the exact same as the homepage, but now you are signed in. So to report something, we're just going to go to the report tab here. Click on report. And then you can see all of the different species here that come up. You can search by their common name here or their scientific name. You can search by plants and do the same thing as how you do on your phone. So we will do herb like we did on the phone for Japanese knotweed. We'll go here and we will scroll down to Japanese knotweed here. Okay, now we are at Japanese knotweed, and you can see the map. You can see if you're reporting the detected or not detected, so that's a little bit different. On here, it's on your phone, it's absent versus present. We have the project, which there you can do the MISIN public reporting. These will populate, and then you have the date of observation, so you can backlog things, which is nice about doing it on the computer. If you say you were on vacation and you found something, you didn't want to report it right away, so you can go back and report that. Again, the area size. Now this is nice. Half an acre to an acre is football field. End zone, not end zones, and then less than 1,000 is a half a tennis court. So those are nice measurements to try and help you visualize that. And then we have the density again, comments, and you can upload a photo the same way. Okay. You can see here the map. You can type a location in the top, or you can use the control and scroll button, or you can use these tabs over here, the plus and minus. So I'm just gonna pick a rough location in Midland here. Once you find your spot, all you have to do is click on the screen and it will drop the pointer here, and you can move it to wherever you want. And then you can see now it has populated our latitude and longitude. And then to submit it, you just scroll to the bottom and hit submit report. A couple other things though that I wanted to point out on this website that are really beneficial. So under the Explore tab, there is the distribution maps. So this one is cool if you want to know what species are in your area. So you can search by date, species, geography, or project. So we're going to do geography, and we're Michigan, and then we'll do Midland again just because that's where I am. So Midland, and then it's going to populate everything that has been reported in Midland. Again, we can zoom in like on the phone and it will populate these more. You can double click and it will zoom in more. If you click on one, it will show you more details and what was reported for that, when it was reported. Trusted source or verified, so yours will show as a general report. The SISMA's is a trusted source, so those are good things to know. Down here, It will show you, so you can change it alphabetically by whatever you want to see. You can also download it as an Excel file if you want to have everything. So down here, we've downloaded it. So that's a really nice tool to have. Again, you can do it by species and other things as well. Just kind of a fun thing to have, or you can know what maybe is in your area that you didn't realize. Species information tab, this one is also really beneficial. If we go to here, it will show you all the species on here that have been reported as an invasive species in Michigan. So there are some species that people ask about that sometimes I'm not really sure if it's determine that in Michigan or not. And so this is kind of my go-to. There's some ornamentals that people think are invasive, some aren't. So it's kind of good to know that. But again, you can search it like you do on your phone. You can also type it in, which you can also do when you're reporting. But we'll just do this first one here, African oxygen weed. So when you click on it, it comes up with all the information about it. Again, you can find this on your phone when you're in the field, but description, habitat, and then reproduction, similar species monitoring, that type of thing. The pictures, you can find other pictures through these links and through these links down here. So that's really nice. Really good tool if you're not sure about a species, if you don't know if it's invasive, but you know its name. It's a good thing to explore there. There's training modules. So here, if you want to learn a little bit more about different species, this can be nice. Some of it's pretty baseline, but it can be really nice if you're just getting into this. So it will go through a series of questions. You can pick different species pretty fast. They say should only take about 15 minutes. And then we have state resources on here. Again, these are also on our SISMA website as well. So there's a lot of different things that you can explore in the MISIN online platform. It's not just reporting, but there's a lot of really great resources for that as well. Well, thank you again for joining me for my first tutorial. I really hope that you learned something out of it, whether or not that's about invasive species or how to use the MISIN app. I hope that you're able to utilize it, whether it's on your phone or on the computer. But please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, whether or not that's how to use the app, where to find a species on the app, or what a species is. We're here to serve you, and we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to answer your questions and help you in any way that we can. So please reach out, and thank you again, and I hope that you're able to go find some invasive species.